Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of BLS 48. Today we have a show and tell with Anam and Dhiraj. Welcome
Hello.
both.
Hey everyone. Thank you for
Hey,
calling us.
I got the honor to be, I guess, the first ones to interview you after you won a prize at the Solana Grizzlyton Hackathon.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
You guys applied for the mobile track, if I'm right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. That's great. Yeah, and I think Dhiraj and I we started planning this a few weeks back. So I had in my original notes the participants, but I could
Yeah.
change this to the mobile track prize winner. So that's
Yeah.
great news. Yeah. So today we're gonna do a show and tell. So the idea here is we're gonna go very quickly into the code. But first of all, very briefly, something about yourself, what you got into development, what you like doing. Nam, can I start with you?
Okay. Hello everyone. I am ANAM and and I have been involved with Solana for last year itself when I got into a Village Fellowship with Hubble Protocol, and after that I interned also at Hubble Protocol. And usually, if I talk about, we both or have been Android developers, so that's why we wanted to do something with Android development plus Solana.
Right.
So that's about me.
Very cool. Diraj, how about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So as Anam said, even I started with like Solana Fellowship, with MLH Fellowship itself, where we built like Solana grants, which you usually see a lot of people talk about. But again, it was under Solana Foundation. So yeah,
Right.
that's how we started our journey in Solana blockchain itself. And before this, I started my development journey as Android developer too. So like always wondering about why there is nothing much built on, and then we get to hear about, oh, there is a Solana mobile stack.
Yeah.
But after that also you're like, oh, why there are no much consumer tabs going on, or why no one is still no talking about, like, before even working on this project I was just looking into sample code or something which I can just look into how it's working, and all I was seeing is just javascript css, and I was like,
Right.
okay, it doesn't much change anything else other than just a web project or something. So we were like
Yeah.
wondering similar to, and that's how we got started, like building on our project, which we'll again talk about soon. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess that's a great segue. Let's dive into it. The project is called SAGAnize, as we can see in the in
Yeah.
the in the in the username and in the title here, which is clearly a nod to the great Android device. I'm checking it out. The
Yeah.
Saga.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
it's a great device. Now, I've personally used it for quite a while for development, not as a daily driver. I'm pretty impressed by it. Like the phone itself, it's you got an example right at home, I imagine.
No.
You have not.
Yeah, because
No.
like we live in India, so they don't ship it yet.
Oh, that's
Yes.
really sad. We have to make sure that works. So, and the real one, are you gonna get a hand on that one,
Oh
or
yeah. I think
Yeah.
we have won the track, so most probably everyone from the team will win,
right?
or at least one will get it for sure.
Got it. Okay, so you've built it then all virtually.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the things I want to share with my experience after having played with it a bit is that it's amazing that it's has this seed vault built in because for I guess for those of you that don't know, it's basically a high-end Android phone that has a one small addition, which is a seed vault, which can handle your secrets in a very secure way. Um, and actually, after that, after you use it a little bit, it's kind of boring, and I think that's a good fact. I think it's great that it's not really something like wow, mind-boggling special. It just signs for you with a fingerprint, and yeah. So that's just in terms of the experience. But yeah, let's start from the start. SAGAnize, what was the idea behind it? You kind of enlightened to it already, but yeah, let's kick it off.
Go ahead, Anam.
Okay. So basically, as we started about the Android development side, we have been Android developers, and when Grizzlython was around, we kind of thought we have been part of Android development for so long, and we are now into Solana. And then we heard about the Solana mobile stack, which you can use to build mobile apps on Solana. So we looked it out, and we did see that even if you look at this Venn diagram, there are Android developers and there are Solana developers, and this it doesn't intersect that much,
Yeah.
and there might be some reasons, and the problems are there, and that's why we thought that we wanted to build something as an infrastructure to onboard more devs, because like if you see mobile devs out there, they are usually building on React Native because that is what they're familiar with,
Yeah.
and it is for sure great. But if we talk about like app development as at the core, Android native is really good, and it's really powerful when you want to build a proper big
Yeah.
application. So that's when we had this idea and we wanted to do something. Like it all started with this one thing, that we wanted to do something that mobile devs or devs can get started in Solana mobile development. They can easily make the apps and everything. So we started finding all the common pain points and general things that we can abstract away or we can provide through our SDKs or our product. So that's how we started the brainstorming. We had like a lot of sessions. We had talks with Andrew as well, and like we started to note things down that we want to build, and we created this kind of map that we want to bring to the platform. So that was like the whole idea or the problem that we thought that we wanted to build upon.
Got it. That's a great explanation, Dhiraj. Anything to add, maybe in essence to this?
Yeah, like as Anam already like said really perfectly. Like we always had this in our mind that it's,
Yeah.
it's something there is going on why people are not building. Like if you see like Solana or even Saga, like Seed Vault is there, which uses like Android's hardware like really great way. And if you wanna go something similar this way, you need to go native and build those applications, because let's be
Yeah.
real, consumers, like any application you will see, it's gonna be consumer focused. No user will like go on desktop and use their like use crypto exchanges or just have a payment application just like we have right now, right? So there has
Yeah.
to be consumer applications. But we did see like what was the problem, which was we have a lot of web developers shifting from web 2 to web 3, and
Yeah.
that transition always stays there, and we constantly keep looking over like dev tooling which is always on desktop. We never go through like consumer focused way to like build applications where some starting apps can be there, or even a way for them to like get started, which was totally missing. And that's why
Yeah.
we were like, okay, this needed, like we had this in our mind from a long time. As soon as like Solana mobile stack was out, like there needs to be something, but it was always like we never thought about something. But this time we were like, okay, we have to go like all in, since we were like always bullish. It was like,
Yeah.
and that's when we like okay, we have to go through. Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. So, and that's what set you up. And then Grizzly Town around the corner. You both signed up and went ahead and started building. The team consists just of the two of you, or are there any others involved behind the scenes?
No, there's one more person with us, Oshin. I'm not sure if you know her, but she's like really active in the Solana, and she helps us out with like the designing part and everything, operations part.
Very cool. I think Oshin and I just connected today on Twitter because of
Yes.
the announcement of
Oh,
this
right.
stream. So
I think
yeah.
she's also in the stream chat counting stars lately, Ocean. Yeah.
Well, with regards to that, welcome everybody in the chat. That's cool of having a live stream. There's a bunch of your friends, I assume,
Yes.
that are here. So very cool. Welcome everybody to BLS. If you have any questions, I want to ask my guests. Feel free to leave them in the chat, and we'll do that. People hand waving here, so that's all good. So yeah, cool. So that's kind of a general overview, and then often we have a demo, but I heard that there's like a UI part that you probably want to ship in the future. So maybe you can briefly go over like what it did or what it does, and then why you decided to basically hide it out of sight.
Yeah, sure thing. So we can just first talk about like what SAGAnize consists of, since we've been talking about like dev tooling and everything,
Yeah.
a lot of stuff. So like when we started off building Solana, SAGAnize, as we talked, like there needs to be like dev tooling and everything, and that's where we thought of like what are things which are missing, and what are things which are like constantly teams are building again and again and again. And that first initial thought was building in-app wallets, which you will see all the consumer focused app. If like the most famous one we can see right now is like Dialect itself. You would see Dialect having their in-app wallets, or even any DAX will be there. Like everyone has their in-app wallets, and we researched on it, like why they are doing this again and again, because we have like original companies, wallet companies, which are pushing as many features, putting all the
Sure.
money, like
Soulflare, Phantom,
exactly,
Backpack.
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
main company is about just wallets, but we still see those other companies building apart from core features, building their new wallets and things. And that's why we thought that, oh, the reason might be is like normal product strategy, which is we don't want users to leave their applications. Like if I'm using dialect don't want the users to go through Phantom or anything else. They just need
Yeah.
to be done everything to be done directly there itself. And that's where we thought about this. And the next part was about something maybe I guess Anam can talk about, which was about notifications.
Yeah, like just to complete the last part, like that what Dheeraj was speaking, like when we like do transactions in our web app, we just have like this extension and it's smooth. But when we go to mobile apps, it's just like it takes you to another app to approve your transaction, and this is like not a good experience for the users. While we were checking out the Solana mobile stack, we were trying out different stuff. So that's when we wanted to provide this in-app transactions. And then we started to think on more features that we can provide. And this is like when I see, like as I said, that I worked at Hubble Protocol, right? And I saw that they have like this email sign up to get notifications about your liquidity and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we have wallets, people are like logging in with their signing in with their wallets, right? So why would someone want to receive that on their emails and contact? That is like another process that they have to go through.
Yeah.
So we kind of thought that if you can just receive your notifications through your wallet ID and everything, that will be like so great. So we started looking into the infrastructure of the notification system, and that's like then we pushed our SDK as well, in the notification part.
Right.
Then to talk about, like, if I may, I can start with like the code base itself or the architecture that we first started. Like we started with a rough architecture. Dheeraj, could you just show that architecture diagram that I had made? Then we can move on to the code part.
Yes, I think Dheeraj needs to share screen again. And you're muted.
Yes.
Sorry. I was just saying that I'll just screen share the new part, which is about architecture itself.
Okay.
Yes.
But right, so in essence, it's an SDK that helps you with a bunch of common things that you see people redoing all of the time. I think we work in an industry, the three of us, where a lot of things get rebuilt over and over again. So I think we can fill a whole episode just thinking about why would we rebuild stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's right to look at these things and try to unify them. But because most likely there will be people who see this and they think, oh, if I can just pick this off the shelf, it
Yeah.
saves me hours and hours of time, and I can just start building on my actual program.
Yeah, like that was the
So it's
initial path, because as a web developer coming, or just a person who wants to just learn and build things, you don't
Yeah.
want to just build everything on your own rather than just take
Yeah.
yes.
something off.
So it's like when you think of Solana mobile development, there's SMS and there should be SAGAnize because it has like everything that
Yeah.
we are trying to incorporate.
Yeah.
So it's like if you are like a web app and you want to shift on mobile, you don't have to think of much things, just focus on your core features, but some common points which we can remove, that will be like so
Yeah.
great. Now, like coming back to the notifications, and like first, like we had this sort of notifications and ads SDK, but ads is like in this will come in the future. But just talking about the notification part, what we did is something as there are, like, we first identified that there are three types of notifications that there can be. First can be the one that you are receiving about your funds transfer, or your, like, if you receive an NFT, that is like that will be one kind of notification.
Hmm.
Second kind be from other dapps, you are getting some kind of notification like you are about to get liquidated, something like that. So this can be the second, and third can be general ads. So we divided like these three types of notification. And to specifically talk about the type 2, like getting notification from a dapp. So what is the first thing is, if you see below, there's like a website that will be there where you register your app. Like you have to, like you have to obviously get your app approved, to get the features available to you. You have to submit your app logo and everything, because that is what will be used to display that notification. So you receive an app ID and the app unique key, and this way the notifications that you are sending is uh true and like approved, so nobody just spams anyone just because they have their wallet ID.
Right.
So what will happen, we have something as like we have our server where client apps just using our SDK, they just have to pass. If you can, Dheeraj, if you can just show the code side by side, so I can just show you the simple function that you have to use just to send the notification.
Yeah, one thing. If I change the URL, I don't think so. It will do anything, right? It'll still be sharing screen, I guess.
Yeah, it still see it. You have GitHub open now. Yeah.
So
Yes. Yeah. So if you look at the functionality, it's like if you want to send a notification, you just have to give the user ID, the user you want to send,
Right.
the app ID, and like the type of the notification, that because we had something as ads notification and a normal notification in our mind. So you just provide that and it sends a just go below and to the architecture again. Yeah. So I'm I hope it is visible like properly. Like just even the boxes are visible, it's more than enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happens, our server first authenticates the person if they are like the client app is correct and everything. They check for the subscription, because we if the user has not subscribed to those notification, they shouldn't be receiving it. So they check that and then they send that notification to Firebase, and using that the user receives that notification. Now, the subscription can be like from two sides. First, the user has to subscribe to a particular client apps, and they can also just turn off the notification completely. Like, I just don't want to receive
Yeah.
anything. So, we have added these kinds of levels and stages in between. So, that we are try to avoid spam, and this way we can get like approved transactions or approved notifications in our phone, like easily and seamlessly. And like looking from the dev's perspective, they don't have to like build the whole infrastructure, like build everything from scratch. They just can just register their app, get their app ID and key, use one function, send the notification, and that's like how simple it can be. This is how
Right.
like this it happens, like whole behind the scenes.
Very cool. And so yeah, that seems like an interesting thing to dive into. For instance, it's all open source. What we're looking at today.
yeah,
It's all live
it's
Yes,
there.
yes.
I'll quickly share the repo on the screen for people that want to check. Uh, I think and this is called SAGAnize Connect. Is that correct?
yeah.
Yes, this one
I
is,
have
yeah,
shared
this
the
is the
link in the private chat itself.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you. I'll pop it on the screen here. Okay, very cool. So this is a notification, and then if I understand it correctly, it's actually powered by Firebase. So everywhere where Firebase works, this works.
Yeah, like for now it is Firebase based,
Yeah,
but we are thinking of making it more through like a kind of a protocol way, so that
yeah,
it
bring
becomes
smart
a
contracts or
yeah,
something into it.
got it. And then
so it becomes like a generalized way of sending notification for all the time. Like let it be web, let it be mobile,
right,
on the same
yeah,
amount.
because I think in most apps there is a maybe an native Android app, but also a web counterpart, maybe an iOS app. Yeah,
Yeah,
very cool. Okay, and the backend is also written in Kotlin.
no,
Yes.
No and yes.
um,
Like
the server, if you mean,
Yeah, the
right?
server side.
you asked
Oh,
about the server or the
Uh,
SDK. Okay, server, yes. It's not on
what
Kotlin.
is the server written in?
server
Wait,
is in Node.js.
Okay,
yes.
Like that's
I
all
guess
we knew.
server is
And
private, yes.
Kotlin is pretty new right now in terms of
Yes.
like multi-platform and all that stuff, so we kind of thought that okay, let's build on the Node.js for now, for sure.
yeah,
But yeah, server is not open source yet because we are not sure about the since we need to like properly audit and everything, and we are not sure about
Yes.
those things yet, security reasons. So that's why. But to be honest, all server does is uh, checking if everything is correct. it's
yeah.
it's basically validating request, nothing else.
Very cool. And
Yes.
then let's say I was a developer and wanted to use this. I there's the idea is that there will be a portal where they can register, or is there like a CLI?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we are thinking of adding a website where you just have to register, and then just you can take the SDK and send notifications. That's it. So we're trying to like work on that process itself.
Very cool. Yeah, happy to give
Yeah.
feedback there. Built a bunch of backends and admins in my time, so
Awesome.
feel free to hit me up at any point.
Sure thing.
So, okay, very cool. So this is basically, so this allows you to enable at this moment notifications, and then in the future using a very similar pattern, ads to the user.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very cool. And this is what Sarah was all about, or are there more pieces to it?
Oh, this is just
There's so much.
yeah, this is just
Yeah.
a starting part. This is more like a, we just needed to like start a base where like, okay, this is common for any app you build.
Mhm.
Without notification, it's like no one, users are like, there are so many apps right now in your
Yeah.
mobile, you hardly even remember. You see
Yeah.
a notification like, oh, I have installed this app. Like this is what
Yeah.
happens with me usually. So yeah, like this
Yeah.
was notifications. If possible, maybe I can just share a tweet video if that's fine. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
I'm
how
not
to
sure
call
if
it.
sound comes over. It's first time I'm gonna try, so feel free to
Oh yeah.
pull it up, and we can see if it works.
Yeah,
And
I don't
just
think so. There is any sound, but I'll just
okay.
screenshot it. It's just to
There's
show a
notification.
normal, like just to give NFT community a good exposure or something.
Good.
So I think it's screen sharing, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, let me pull this one up. There we
Yes, now
go.
it's
Now,
So yeah. So this is just a normal Kotlin app since we were like developing to demo, so we couldn't think of like building a website.
yeah,
But you can think of it in any platform. Like it can be website where they can, let's say someone from Drip wants to send notification, because if you know, Drip is basically a NFT website or NFT community or a company which sends like weekly really good arts. It's drip.haus. So if you have not checked out, feel free to check out. And what they do is like every week, every Wednesday or Thursday, tweet about, oh, there is gonna be a new art coming or something. And it's like, and we were like thinking that, oh, this is the best use case to show. Like, why do you want to tweet about everything? Just share
notify you.
something where they can notify. And
Yeah.
this is just a normal thing where we can show. This is like send us reminder and welcome to season 2, drop one comment today.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's like really awesome way to just share something like this.
yeah. Very cool. And then the main difference is that you register somebody, like you register the app with
Yeah.
its public ID, and you register a user. You don't have any of their info.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
that's the plan. Yeah.
That's the plan. Yeah, very cool. I love Drip, by the way, so that's a great
Yeah,
example.
us
I
too.
think we all do. It's great to get some free NFTs, and they're cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, awesome, great. So that was one thing that's built. Everybody does this. What was the next step?
The next part I'll be explaining, which is gonna be about in-app transactions through burner wallets. Now, when burner wallets comes in, there can be so many things coming in. Like we can see live examples from like Solfair for web and things.
Yeah.
And this is where like for a wallet company, obviously they will have all those things. But for a dApp, why should I let any user to go to Solflare or Phantom and approve transaction? And that's why we'll like create in-app wallets. But that's where we come to solve by just letting you do in-app transactions. So it's like for developers, it becomes really easy for them to not have anything like wallets or anything. They can just do in-app transactions. But for users, they bring this security of burner wallets, which means your wallet, like we are not going to be a wallet company. We are never going to like do a versus ppt or anything with them. It's more like going to be like, oh hey, you do a bunch of like crypto things. How about, because like when you go to like crypto side, money is always the concern, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what if I connect a wallet and
Yeah.
since just a naive user, I have no idea what smart contract is, and what if it just funds just go in like a minute and I'm just robbed, right? And that's where burner wallets comes in, where like, oh, I'm just gonna give a top up of one Sol or one USD,
Yeah.
and that's all the transaction will take max to max.
Yeah.
And that is where we thought of like, okay, let's do everything via burner wallets through in-app transactions. We can have burner wallets for one specific app, like bunch of things can be built in, and that's where our plan is. So I'll just maybe screen share and show the code of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a super interesting point in general.
Yeah.
Like in-app wallets or not. I used to work with Kin ecosystem, and all of these apps were based on in-app wallets.
Oh no.
So now this has a great upside that it allows people to transact crypto without actually knowing what they're doing.
Hmm.
But in all fairness, this is also kind of a downside because people are transacting crypto and they don't know what they're doing, right? Exactly the same thing. Definitely has two camps where I'm both supportive of and both like cautious of. I think you want to educate people like, hey, you're self-signing. You actually have reign over whatever you're using. You can take it out and use it in another app. Like this is so great, but if you
Yeah.
hide it out of sight, there's not something. There's something a middle ground that we need to find out. I think as a community, as an ecosystem, like
Yeah.
what's now real value. Like for instance, my mom loves Duolingo. She has a paid plan. She pays for it, so she's okay with like paying stuff on her mobile and using it, and it gets out of the
Yeah.
way, right? She never has to think about where these Duolingo points stored. We all know it's in the
Yeah.
database. It's just,
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah,
no, I
interesting.
totally get your point. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely two sides to it. Yeah, and I totally recognize like you don't want to be a wallet. I shared a
Yeah.
topic yesterday because I got reminded of the Slope Finance hack issue
Oh yes.
that happened half a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to get involved. I guess most people just shouldn't want to be building a
Yeah.
wallet. This was because I was building a wallet in React Native, as you said, in React Native myself. I was doing it. I was like, oh man, if I screw this up, and then it made me think on the
Oh
hack, and I
yes.
started looking it up, and like everybody forgot about
Yeah.
it. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's
I mean, that's actually like true. Like we as a community needs to come for like a solution what user requires, and user needs to speak more onto that because we as developer thinks, oh, this is the best UX because it's working for me or my friends. But if we don't have any users to speak about like, oh, what can be improved, otherwise it just doesn't make sense for us to keep like making it better and better.
Yeah.
Like that, like after all, it's all about like if it comes to like good UX, then we take control of like wallets and do transaction for them.
Yeah.
If it comes to security, they take control of their wallets and do transactions. It's like always up and down.
And do you think there's like a good middle ground would be like to offer like an expert option where you can basically do self-signing? Because I think for the onboarding we can all agree, like get rid of the wallet. Don't tell somebody, oh, you have to save these 12 words, otherwise you're screwed for life, right?
Yeah.
It's a very interesting area.
Like from my side, it's always been like if user give user the choice. If they want to do fast transaction, there is always a caution. If they want to do like slow transactions, good security,
confirm it all.
Yeah, confirm it all. Yeah. And like, what do you think, Anam, about this?
Yeah, I guess like we also talked about this, like the security part and everything, because if we just, the user needs to know that they're approving the transaction, it is happening in the back end and all that, and like if we talk about like users in crypto and like mobile space itself, they are really really new. It like we developers know most of the things, like, oh, it's this or this that, but when you talk about people who are using it, we want them to know, like, we have to find this, as you said, the middle ground. They should know that this is happening, but not too much spam, like, oh, so many steps are there, so like thinking about that itself, like we thought that there will be two options, like either you do through SAGAnize or normal like Phantom or Soulfit. So it will be something as like the users that they will select on their own.
Yeah. I think the end. It clearly also depends. Like if you're building a dev tool, sure, you give, you'll do nothing out of on behalf of the user. You'll give them full control. Whereas if you build like a social network, I think it's like going on to this. We could probably also fill another hour talking just about these dynamics. But like the whole idea of having somebody pay. For instance, I build a social network, and then instead of giving a like, this will cost you like a tiny amount of Sol or whatever USDC, whatever token. I think there's a lot of good things potentially to it, but it's also not obvious. Like if we clearly thought about monetizing content and how to do it and being decentralized and et cetera, et cetera. I think, for instance, if Twitter would pay per tweet, I think there would be less shit posting. I'm fairly sure that people would be like a bit more cautious, like, I might not be interested in sharing this, or might not comment on this one, or I might not like my friend's post, because even though I like my friend, I'm not interested in this post. And if it costs me like 10 cents, like, okay, whatever, I'll just let it go. So I think in the end, you'll get a higher quality social network. But then you have to explain people like, oh, you have to actually pay per post. to post something. Now you have to pay to like something, and then people like, yeah, I can go to on Twitter and I can do it all
Just do the same
for
thing,
free.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And like that is where I also sometimes feel weird, like we are comparing totally different audiences. Like one needs their data to be like safe and no one should like monetize using their data, but one is like, oh, I just don't care, I just want to post something.
yeah. Yeah, that's definitely fair. And I mean, I spoke to people in India. They told me that the government is getting more strict and more strict on what people post. So
Yeah,
I think in your country, there's definitely there's potentially more awareness. I'm from
yeah,
the Netherlands myself, where basically anything goes as long as it's not acting criminal stuff online. They will not interfere.
that's
People are
great
like,
actually.
yeah, whatever. They don't care anyway. Like they're overprivileged in any sense, and also in like they can just say whatever they like. And so
Yeah,
for them, it's a real hard sell. I think in a country like India, it might be easier to
yeah,
touch on that.
I
So
agree, yeah.
yeah, you got screen share open. So let's pull the screen in here and let's take a look
Yeah.
at.
Also, really sorry for being lazy about like not writing README. This is
Other way.
me, and you saw the Anam's README. It was like well documented, but
Yeah,
again, disclaimer: not to be used in any production level code or anything yet.
good. Big disclaimer. Yeah, development. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, this is like Solwave SDK. We try our best to go with the good names, but yeah, so what it does is it's doing in-app transactions, and we make it as easy as possible. We make it as easy as possible by just opening a bottom sheet, which you usually see when you like try to share something. It shows like, oh, do you want to share on WhatsApp or anything? It does the
right.
same. So anyone can just like create a bottom sheet with them, and then we have like bunch of like if you just see the code structure, we have a bunch of like transaction type. Right now we just made it sure that it's just doing a transfer because we wanted to make sure everything is working with like one transfer transaction type itself.
Yeah,
And then we have something called like a retrofit and like connecting to fire our server, which is database right now, which is Firebase. So like all it does is calls to server validates every request, because again, if server is since this SDK is live, the URL is live, so anyone can just send a request with using like the proper whatever the params is, and we don't want just to transaction to happen or something like that, right? So like it validates, and there comes the middle ground, like, oh, how do we validate? Do we validate via password, fingerprint, and all that stuff?
right.
Currently it's like validating via fingerprint and everything.
Yeah,
Again, development purpose only.
yeah,
So yeah, like it does all this. I'll probably show a video properly, and we have bunch of callbacks so that it's easier to handle everything. So like, okay, if transaction is completed, transaction is cancelled, transaction is failed, everything should be done properly to the SDK so that they can show any errors or anything in any way. Again, it's not gonna be like super snappy. It's all gonna be like, oh, a user clicks on buy now, it will show. Okay, I'm checking everything just like a wallet shows in a different app. Okay, everything looks good. I'll apply my fingerprint and transaction is done. And again, if you're using our SAGAnize app, you'll get to see that, oh, transaction is done as a notification or
got
transaction
it.
is happening.
Yeah,
And yeah, we'll also show like how fast it is right now, but again, that's not us but doing Solana doing its magic.
sure. Yeah,
Yeah, apart from that, yeah, that's all. Like Solve ways, we try to make it as simple as possible, at least just for one transaction right now.
yeah.
So yeah, you could just like yeah, apart from readme I don't have it, but it's all about just calling bottom sheet and getting done with it. And the code for like there's bunch of Android normal UI code, but
Yeah.
this is where things comes in. Like you just call bottom sheet with the transaction type, and it should be doing its magic. Yeah.
Very cool. And is this all in-house built, or do you build on the Kotlin
Yes,
SDK for Solana?
it's into Kotlin, and see, so currently, not none of the SDKs are using the Solana mobile stack.
Got it.
The mobile stack is getting used in the SAGAnize because that's where all the magic comes. This is just like a wrapper above it, like, oh, you can do it easily with whatever we are offering right now. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But I imagine Solana.kt will at
Oh
some point
yes.
get support for this as well.
Yeah, like Solana.kt, since we are not using like bunch of specific Solana things here, because it was just public key and how many lamp ports or something you wanted to set,
Yeah.
but we are using Solana KT mobile stack and everything in our SAGAnize app. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Great. Yeah. That's very cool. So this is really like a convenience way to quickly get ahead
Yeah.
and do these kind of things.
Yep.
And it builds it as UI. So one of the things I'm mainly, my daily driver is mainly on iOS for the last few years, but the payment flow is ridiculously good integrated. It's like
Yeah.
when I first used Apple Pay, I was like, wow, this is really, really cool. And
Yeah.
then in the Netherlands, we were already doing contactless payments for years, right?
Yeah.
Contactless paying has been like maybe 10 years already in the Netherlands. It's super comfortable. So we already had the speed of doing this,
I agree. Yeah.
but just, I don't know. I still bring my wallet because I'm like ancient and I'm used to it. I don't really use it. It's all digital. And I think having something like this experience for Solana is going to be amazing.
I agree. I totally agree. Like that is what we like have to educate users in a way, because after all, even when Apple Pay does something, like they also have something of your password or passkey or something, and that's how they are able to do
Yeah.
anything. Otherwise, no company can just do anything without and having those things. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that is. Maybe I can show a small video of this. Again, these videos have been made in like in really really late night. So if it's like bad or something, super sorry for that. I'll
On
just
this
screenshot.
anything goes. We have a high
Yeah,
standard in picking our guests, but as of then, we can just go anything.
yeah.
So
I'm really not sure how I can pull this into like full screen, but
I think if you click on the tweet itself, it might open it in a
oh,
yeah
awesome.
bit bigger. But I think this is the best you're gonna get.
I'll just let you know once how to start when it is gonna be starting. Is it not screen sharing or okay? It's screen sharing.
It's sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, you must have already seen like it's just a normal application showing a NFT. Again, I just did right click and copy image. Sorry if that was a problem with the thing, but I needed to have it in my phone to showcase. Yeah, so all it does is like it will approve transaction from and to. Currently it's not showing estimation and all that, because that we need to like talk with proper wallet companies how they
Sure.
figure out and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was showing how many souls are taking, and once you click on approve, a fingerprint is getting called and that is done. And like it was that quick, it was like happening success.
Yeah.
And you can see our tweet was also like, oh, how it beats our loader too. So like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, even that was like super fast. So yeah, like,
It
and
is
this is,
incredibly
yeah,
fast. Can you just loop it without doing the pause, just so
yeah,
people
sure.
can admire it? So here it's sending. You say approve. You do the fingerprint, and then bam, notification is there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now, in terms of, yeah, this is pretty cool. In
yeah,
terms of the Solana confirmation, you get back on confirmed, I think. So you as soon as it confirms
yeah.
by the blockchain, you assume that it's
Yeah, so the way it works is like from this like from a random any dApp apk, it will like confirm the send the request with like all the validation required from on the server will validate everything. If it's not correct, it's just a random user sharing anything without fake details, it will just give callback that it is filled. But if everything goes good, it will go to the SAGAnize will complete the transaction, everything will be done. And as you can see, that's why SAGAnize was showing the notification that hey, transaction is in progress, and everything is going on. And once that is done, it just sends back the request and everything, and it gets done. It's like that's why we are always like bullish on these things, that oh, this like way better applications can be built using like what we offer, what Solana offers in term for the consumer apps.
yeah,
And we are really interested to see what gets to build again and again.
very cool. Yeah, this looks really great, and yeah, that's awesome.
Also, yeah, just one thing that you won't be getting this like NFTs at 6 Sol. That was like I tried to make it as small as possible just to showcase, but it's like really high value, at least 80 Sol or something. Yeah,
Yeah. I think huge. As long as you can get them for Sol, they might be
yeah.
only with Matic in the
Oh
future.
yes, yeah.
Uh, so excellent. So yeah, we had a good idea of what you guys built. So and then this is it. So it's the notifications plus the transactions, or is there even more? I
Yeah,
mean, I don't want
we
to.
could show application right now, but that would just confuse a lot of people. So we like have put this on the stream, like okay, just SDKs
Yeah,
for application. You're gonna get everything really soon directly on Play Store, Solana, Tap Store, and everything. Yeah,
yeah, very cool. Okay, so we can definitely go on to that maybe in a future stream. Even I'm more than happy to host you guys. What is the so you won a prize? Are you going to
yeah.
continue building? What's the future going to look like for SAGAnize? What's the plans?
Go ahead, Sanam.
Yes. So basically, like for us it was like, even if we don't win, we still want to continue that project. So we had that kind of in our mind. So basically right now what our path looks like is, first we complete our main features that right now that we showed. It's, if I say, it's around 80% complete. Like the website has to be built. There are some small things that we have to make, and we will first work on releasing that thing. And we, after that, we are also looking into bringing more features. As I said, there are a lot of points that we can cover, lot of things that we can make it easier for devs to build on Solana mobile. So first we would like to first complete our main in-app transactions with burner wallets and the notification system, and then we are gonna go ahead with more features that we can onboard, using that itself. So we have like pretty much a lot of things right now. We just want to sit down and like map those things together. Like this,
Yeah.
it's like that chart. Like we have this, this, this,
Yeah.
this, and then we have to join those points and then decide the whole uh thing out. Something like
Yeah.
that.
That makes a lot of sense. And do you have any ideas of about maybe other developers that are working on something that are looking to integrate this, or are you still looking for integrators?
Yeah, I think we were getting a lot of attraction for like in-app transactions and things. I think there's still a lot more to like educate people, that because we, like, if they are not seeing the need of something like this,
Yeah.
like not just with Saganize or just with like just having notifications around or something, then there is definitely a proper need to educate, because
Yeah.
everyone who are not understanding the need have their notifications coming in all day all night, right? So
Yeah.
those things needs to be figured out, but we have got a direction for in-app transactions and bunch of things. And that's like, as Anam said, like our plan is right now to this, make sure that we open it for devs as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But we also, like, since it comes with the wallet and all those things, we need to take little steps to make sure that security is also in the correct way. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very fair point. That's definitely good. Yeah, I think the point you touched on, a lot of people they don't know they need it, and I think a lot of people looking at Solana Dev, they'll start looking at the SDK and I'll figure it out, and then they see they actually need to do a bunch of stuff that you guys already wrapped around a nice package.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's very cool. Quickly going over the chat here, Wilfred Almeida joined us here. He says, "Nice hat, B-Man." Thank you very much, Wilfred. I appreciate that, and excited to build on this. So this might be a first
Yeah.
participant. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. I guess we took a pretty global look on the system and how it works. Any things? I mean, I got it listed here as the good, the bad, and the ugly. Any things that was hard to build? Chewing glass. Was there a lot of glass to be chewing, or
Yeah,
what was the
for
hardest?
me, I think for hardest was just figuring out infrastructure, like how it can be as seamless as possible. Like first we were thinking
Yes.
that, oh, we're gonna just like ask bunch of permissions to make it as easy as possible, but that was like, okay, we are just killing the user by
It's,
Yeah,
making the
it's
UX
like
great and just asking bunch of Android level permissions. So
yeah,
like that was totally not the thing to go. And then since it was like already coming on UX, that something or other thing needs to be like go up or down. So we were like, if you are going this way, then maybe we can like make it seem transaction by having the wallets and everything and all in that way. So that made it little possible. But yeah, till I think even still we are constantly figuring out how the infrastructure can be built so that like it's at least for some time we need to not constantly like figure out and rebuild the things.
yeah,
So that like we are coming on to like a point that it's constantly gonna be like fixed for some time. And then
yeah.
so like for me it was that Anam had her own problems, so maybe she can say more.
So like for me, like in the notification system, I just started writing down. Like I made like a lot of notes.
So yeah.
Like okay, this is there, this is there. Like I just used to write everything on the Notion, and like okay, now we cannot use this now. This is not working, and then like we had to figure it out. Like as I said, receiving notifications using your wallet ID, it also involves a different process. How will the device know that this wallet is in this
Yeah,
device, because that is specific to a device? So like figuring that architecture itself took some
yeah,
time. And right now whatever architecture we have, I still want to upgrade it and like remove the Firebase dependency as of now, like because that will make it more better and smooth.
yeah,
So that this is something that I will move on to the next part and research something, like get some more better way or a better architecture which I can work around, something like that.
That sounds interesting, and your notes might be worth money if it's a lot of knowledge
Yeah,
accumulated there. Maybe
yeah.
publish it at some point.
Her notes were like really well written. That helped us for the pitch and pitch deck and everything. But yeah,
Just like to read
It's
me.
like
yes,
Yeah, that's very cool.
yeah, it's like read me. That's why it didn't took me that much time because I've written so many things. I just had to make it more short and simpler,
Right.
and then add it on the read me part.
Very cool. Yeah, I a few takeaways here that I should have done. I think you guys definitely focused on what you want to build and made a few decisions that you might later do differently, like using Firebase for notifications. Quick way to get started. It's not how you eventually want to have it permanently,
yeah,
but I think it's good. I think this is quality by itself, figuring out which shortcuts you're going to take, which ones are non-negotiable. Like some things you
yeah,
really want to do it, let's say the proper way, right? And yeah, interesting. I had a guest on the show two episodes ago, Emil's with Tapcash, who also won a
yeah.
prize, and he said the hardest part of Android development was the hardest part of Solana development was getting Android Studio to work. But I think
Yes,
with two expert Android devs, that's not the
yeah,
issue.
yeah.
Uh,
For us, it was like really in the start, but now it's like it's a habit now.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Very cool. Yeah, awesome. I definitely I want to look more into Kotlin. Dhiraj and I, we actually met
Oh
first
yeah,
time we met. It was about Kotlin SDK as well. So still intention to do. And SAGAnize might be a great excuse for me to look into that.
for
Yeah,
sure.
it's been great. I really like yeah, dev tooling in general. I think it's well needed to make development even easier.
Yep.
Uh, I guess if that's it, we can leave it here. I'm curious if you guys have anything to plug or you still want to mention something about the project. If not, anything goes. Maybe your favorite NFT project or your favorite TV show or whatever you want. Feel free to plug something to the people watching.
It just like our main goal is like when people think of Solana mobile development, there's Solana mobile stack and there's SAGAnize. So it's like it should be like the goal that people should go towards. Like, oh, I want to build on mobile on Solana, I should go this way because
Yeah,
it has everything. So that is our end goal.
yeah,
So I
Yeah,
think so. I've said this like before also during the stream. I just wanted to say it again so it like stays.
it sticks. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
And then, okay, but on that topic, I think that's definitely a good goal. It also seems like a clear goal. Will it stay focused on Android development though, or will you at some point say we're going to look at adding different platforms, languages?
yeah. So we have also thought about this in future. It totally makes sense because once it gets attraction towards just native Android, I'm pretty sure we're gonna get more community asking for like let it iOS and React Native and all those things. Which again, it's all about just adding SDK there, so it
Yeah,
shouldn't take much longer because server is gonna be written in just one language and SDKs can be built upon.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah, I had a quite a broad experience with SDKs, and
Yeah.
Android was an easy one to get started. And one thing that took me by surprise how fast it was to learn was Flutter and Dart.
Oh yeah.
It was really mind-boggling. Now I do have to say I had Copilot at my hand, so I had an eager helper out, so I could just say like iterate over an array of things, and then it would figure
Oh
out how to
yeah.
do that. I think if you can do development at some level in some language and you're proficient, then these tools are great as well. But on in reality, I think nothing beats native. I think that's
Yeah.
also another trade-off. And if you can do it, then that's definitely a great choice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, I think that then we can wrap it up here, unless there's something else to share.
Yeah, nothing else, but yeah, like for sure, like thank you so much for calling us here. Like like I remember talking with Beeman when I was like looking for opportunities in like
Yeah.
Solana ecosystem, and then we like chatted about, and like even like I was building like a Kotlin sample app for Ken Foundation at that
Yeah.
time, and like
Yeah.
I think I still have the code somewhere lying around in my PC or something. but like yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, like that was really like so like he's like a great person to like chat with, and even he built like a pop key, and which was like really great application to see ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, definitely great to connect, and we're now also connected through Solana Collective, which is good.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, same people keep on
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
up, and then something a bit farther away. Are you guys planning on going to a hacker house in India end of this year?
Oh yes.
And then
Yes,
which one would you recommend? If I could only pick one, which one would you recommend? Bangalore or Delhi? I think it's Mumbai
It's
and
Mumbai.
Bangalore.
Yeah.
There are three this time.
There are two only, I guess. Mumbai only.
Okay, Mumbai or Bangalore. Okay.
Like we have a little bit bias towards our city, which is Mumbai
Yeah.
itself.
Okay.
But yeah, like since you're gonna be coming for proper hacker house and having like
Yes.
a proper tech vibes around, so
Yes.
Bangalore will be the way to
Bangalore.
go, because that has been like a startup area for like. So it's like if any startup has been
That's
going
the
good, all the
best.
founders will just
Go
go
to
to
Bangalore.
Bangalore.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm still doubting. I never been to India. It's high on my list. It's really high on my
yeah.
list. I've been in the neighborhood. I've been in Southeast Asia, but
Oh,
never had a real good excuse. I think this is a great excuse, but yeah,
Yeah.
as I'm no longer employed, it's a bit harder to make these kind of decisions. Like previously, I could
Oh,
basically
yeah.
just plan it in and allocate resources, but we'll figure it
agree.
out. Yeah, it's been great having you. I love the enthusiasm you people have, and again, congratulations on winning. Feel free to reach out to me if I can do something with regards to testing, or if you want to demo like the next iteration, you're always welcome on the stream here.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Great.
Thanks for having us.
More than welcome. Thanks for being here, and to all the guests watching, thanks a lot for checking in, and I hope to see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.